channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue of Bendnstretch with Sue. In today's yoga video, I'm going to be taking you through a practice that is infused with planks. So it will really target your core. All you'll need for it are a couple of yoga blocks if you have them handy. If not, I'll offer up some modifications. But with that, let's get going now. Now, as we come into the practice, you find a comfortable seated position, whether that is sitting on the heels as I am, or sitting on a yoga block, or even in easy pose with the legs crossed or outstretched. So you find what works best for you to allow yourself a few moments where you can simply close the eyes, remaining tall through your spine, and using this time to center, to set an intention. Perhaps in today's practice, because we are really tapping into strength, you may set an intention of, I'm strong, I have what I need today, or simply using these few moments of centering to detach yourself from all that busies your mind. So as we take a big inhalation, you can scoop the arms out wide, bringing the palms together, looking up to the hands as we begin with a beautiful stretch. From here, let's interlace the fingers and press the palms away, draw the abdominals in toward the spine for a big stretch through the back body. Inhaling to bring the arms up and just pressing those palms toward the ceiling. Take another inhale, get a little bit taller, focusing on opening the chest. Exhale and float the arms back down again. Let's take a few shoulder rolls here to loosen and to open up this area. And from here, taking another big breath in, we'll simply bring the hands to the heart on the exhale, moving forward to come onto all fours. So we'll begin by creating some stretches in the wrists, being very mindful of utilizing the entire hand. So you want to ensure that you've got a really big handprint in your mat. You press through the tops of the feet and continuing to draw the belly in. We'll warm up the wrists by gently turning the fingers outward, still maintaining that big, large handprint, making a few rotations here to just start to become more in tune with the wrists, the hands, where the weight is distributed, going the other way as well. And always maintaining a little bit of softness in the elbows too. As we come back to the center, you may have the availability to turn the fingers toward your knees, perhaps not. And if not, you just work to what availability you do have, being cautious, especially if you've been known to have wrist issues. The wrists are very complex joints, so we don't want to overstress them. So it is good to warm them up. From here, we just gently shift the hips back a little bit, continuing to press into the pads of all of the fingers, including the thumbs. Perhaps you're able to bring the hips back a little bit further, breathing here. So using your breath always to navigate through discomfort. And as we carefully bring those hands back underneath of the shoulders, we'll take the top of one hand and place it on top of the mat. So you want to, again, try to keep that handprint large. You might be able to do both of them, or maybe you have to do one at a time here. So try to stay softened through the shoulders. Pressing those thumbs down is going to be helpful to really open up the tops of the hands, the wrists. And from here, you can press it back. You can shake out the hands and you can feel like there's a lot more space in those wrists. So massaging them out as you circle them one way, circle them the other way a few times. And from here, let's kind of wiggle out the fingers and let's move on to our table position once again. We'll open those handprints nice and big. Take an inhale to lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. And as you exhale, tuck the tail and look toward your knees. Spread your shoulder blades apart. Take a breath in, lift the gaze up. And as you exhale, take your time, imagine that movement just rippling from your tailbone all the way to your cervical spine. Let's do one more like that. So this is a great way to start to limber up the spine, but also to bring more attention to those abdominal muscles. As you bring yourself back to neutral position, let's take the hands a little further forward as we move into a half plank position. So we start off nice and easy, getting the body accustomed to planking, breathing in at the top of that plank and breathing out as you bend the elbows. Try to keep them tucked really close to your body as you lower yourself down. Keep them squeezing towards your body. Because of weakness in those triceps, quite often there's a tendency to let them flare out or take the hands wider or further forward. So we want to try to keep everything nice and tucked as we inhale and press up into Cobra. And we just keep it nice and easy as we press through the hands and the knees. The push back into an extended child's pose here. You can bring the forehead all the way down. Maybe the forearms reach down as well. And just feel yourself connecting body over the thighs. You may have to take your thighs a little wider apart if you want to ease gradually into making this more comfortable for yourself. Then inhaling, let's try that again. Moving right through our inhalation to exhale as we lower ourselves down, using the inhale to press back up into our Cobra, pushing back into our child's pose. Moving forward now, coming back to our table position. And as we continue to really bring focus to activating the core, we'll bring the right arm alongside the ear. So thumb is up, palm is open to the left wall, and then reaching your left leg long. So right away, you're going to feel yourself maybe tipping to one side or to the other. So the intention here is to keep the body nice and level through the hips. So you don't want to have one hip kind of turning up. You want to keep both of those hip bones pointed forward. As we add a little more activation, take an inhalation to bring the arm and the leg out diagonally, and then exhale to bring them back in alignment. Let's do that a couple more times, being cautious to only move your arm and your leg. So the body stays still. Quite often I'll see some swaying of the body. You want to avoid that. And let's bring it back to our starting place. Inhaling to reset, exhale and reach those limbs away. So holding it here, the toes are pretty much pointed downward on that right foot. Your shoulders are well away from the ears, breathing in to open it up and breathing out to close it up. Two more. And again. And bring it back in again. From here, we'll move the hands a little further forward, tucking the toes under to take it into downward facing dog. In our downward dog, you can press your heart toward the back of your mat. You can give your head a little turn here to release, making sure the upper back is nice and wide, and bending and straightening the legs a little bit just to open up the posterior chain a little bit more. And then using an inhalation to come forward into your high plank. Now if you need to drop down to the knees, modify always as your body requires, but you do want to fire up the body here. So you want to make sure that you're not planking with your hips up in the air like that. You also want to make sure you're not dipping them down. That makes it a little bit easier, but puts a lot of pressure on the back. So we want to strengthen those muscles. You're going to feel yourself firing up in your planks. If you notice, my heels are stacked over top of my toes, which is going to cause me to really fire up from the feet, the soles of the feet, those pada bandhas, all the way through to the top of the head. Let's take a breath in at the top. Exhale, lower down. We'll come all the way down for this one. Press through the tops of your feet. Draw the elbows in again as you lift up into cobra, or maybe take it into an upward facing dog, and then flip those toes under again to come back to your downward facing dog. Breathing easy here. Let's move through that once again. So really getting ourselves used to using a really wide open hand is going to cover more area on your mat. So it makes it a little easier, believe it or not. Again, get those toes lined up so where the ball of the foot toes connect is under the heels. Inhale, exhale to lower that down. Maybe pause here and then scooping it through to come into your upward dog, and then take it back to your downward facing dog. Spread the hands wide open, and as you reach back with your right leg, level the hips once again. Breathe in and breathe out to step that foot to the top of your mat. So creating a runner's lunge again. Pay attention to that back foot. We want to have flexibility in the feet and the toes. That's going to help with balance throughout our life. And as you bring your right hand or left hand under your shoulder, you may want to use a block here to get a little bit more height. Reach up with your left or your right hand. Look up to it. Keep that left leg nice and straight and strong. And as you bring your right hand back down, let's reach it back once again to your three-legged dog, but we'll really focus on drawing length from the right hand to those right toes. Move it forward into a three-limb plank if that's available to you. Breathe in at the top, breathe out to lower, and scoop it through. Upward dog, and take it back. Downward facing dog. So remember, wide open hands, shoulder blades spread apart, giving the head a beautiful little turn side to side. Let's reach the left leg back, leveling your hips. Once again, reach through those tippy toes. Press the weight out of your hands. So give your hands a break here. Make it lighter. Breathe in and breathe out. Step that foot forward. Again, take time to really focus on that back foot, back leg. Right hand under your shoulder, left arm reaches up and aligns beautifully. So you want to create a nice straight line from that bottom hand out through the top, looking up to the top hand. Feel like you're squeezing your inner thighs together as well to bring the strength into that midline. Bringing that hand down again. Let's step it back, three-legged dog. Level the hips, reach through those left tippy toes, and take it forward to your three-limb plank. Lower to chaturanga, and inhale into your upward dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Breathe easy. Once again, you can kind of wiggle out your tail, wag it side to side here, creating a nice ease in the back chain, walking the hands gradually to the back of your mat in order to allow yourself to create some downward traction into a ragdoll. You can bring the hands to opposite elbows to create even more traction. And as you soften the knees, slowly unroll to make your way up to mountain Tadasana. So from here, bringing your feet underneath the hips to make sure that you've got that great strong grounding alignment, just like you did with your fingers. Try to spread your toes apart. Feel the anchoring through the center of your heel as well as the balls of the feet and every pad of every toe. Take a breath in, reach up, look up. Exhale, dive down. Take your time, squeeze out all the breath on your way down. Forward fold. Once again, hanging out here a little bit. So we really take advantage here of giving our wrists a break. A really nice way to do it is to slide the hand right underneath your foot, both of them if you can. And from here you want to try to get your toes to connect to the wrists so that as you bring more weight into your hands, more in the balls of the feet, give toes a wiggle here so that you get a really nice little bit of massaging to your wrists as you wiggle your toes around. It feels quite nice. You can kind of shift the weight back to the heels and then back to the balls of your feet. And then as you soften the knees, let's walk those hands to the shins, inhaling with a nice long flat back. Exhale, walking the hands away to come into a high plank position. Lining it up here, reaching the head forward, keeping that core nice and strong. From here, we're going to take the feet a little bit wider apart and taking your time to bring your right arm right alongside the ear as we did with our pointer from table. See if you can do the same thing with the left leg. Take your time to level the body here for a two-limbed plank. Bring it down and push back. Downward dog. So we have two sides, so that only means that we've got another side to go yet. So take a breath in as you come forward into your high plank. Aligning yourself here. Take your time. Make sure the feet are wide enough as you start. That's going to help you to stabilize. Reaching through your left arm. Do the same thing, right leg. Find your balance. Two-limb plank. Breathe. Hold it. Hold. And release it. Press it back. Downward facing dog. Lifting on the balls of both feet. Bending the knees, look to the space between your hands as you walk or hop your feet there. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive. Sweep those arms wide, reach tall, hands to the heart, and landing in your chair. Take an inhalation and exhale to fold and squeeze out the breath once again. Inhale, halfway up. Plant the hands down, step back with your right foot. As you turn the back toes out, reach up to come into your warrior one. And once again, we give our wrists a little bit of a break here as we open up and bring the hands behind the back. Interlace fingers, lifting up to press the heart forward and upward. Humble warrior as we tip forward. Again, activate and fire up the midlines of your legs. Breathe here. Press into those feet and release it. Inhale. Exhale, bringing the hands to the mat and stepping back with your right foot to the top. Inhale, exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, hands come to the heart, exhaling right back into your chair. Take an inhale and exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen, hands come down once again, step back with your left foot, warrior one. Again, opening up those arms to give a great stretch through the front body. Feels good because we do fire up those chest muscles when we're planking. Breathe in, take it to your humble warrior. Breathing in and out, Uaji breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Making sure that You are staying strong in that center body. And from here, release it. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, pivot on the ball of the back foot and step it in once again. Flatten the back to breathe in. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive. Bring those palms together and sink into your chair. Take an inhale and exhale to fold. Breathe in, flatten the back, breathe out, hands come down and feet go back to your plank position once again. From here, we lower down to chaturanga and scoot through to your upward dog. Take it to downward dog. As we bring ourselves from our downward dog, now for this next plank variation, you may want to use blocks, but we're going to come into a walking plank variation. So taking the hands forward, or the body forward to stack in one. Again, be aware of your toes and the placement of your heels. Reach your head forward, keep your body strong. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, step out to the side. So trying to bring that right foot closer to your right hand. So having a little bit of height, you might find is helpful to you to get more of a clearing in the hips. Not necessary, and if it's not quite working for you, just bring the foot, tap those toes as close as you can. Now notice the sacrum. You want to try to keep those hips balanced as you do this movement, extending out, stepping the left foot in and back, right and back, left foot comes forward and back, right, left. We'll do two more on each side, right, keep that body nice and solid. One more. And finish it up right here. Whew, take it back. Downward facing dog. Take an inhalation forward to plank. Exhale and move through your vinyasa. Maybe pausing all the way at the bottom and then taking it back to your downward facing dog. As you come back to a plank position once again, we're going to create another variation of walking plank. So again, start to pay attention even more to your hips. As you get tired, there might be a tendency to start lifting them up. You want to level at that body. From here, we bring the right forearm down. You can bring the feet a little wider as well, and the left one. So if your feet are a little bit wider, it's going to help you to prevent that twisting as we step the right hand under the shoulder and the left. Let's bring the left one down and the right one. And from here, right under the shoulder and left. Right comes down, left comes down, and left, right. Left goes first, right, and right, left, right, left, left, right. Last one. Bringing the left one down first, right, right, left. Take it back. Bring those feet in a little bit closer together for your downward dog. Lift on the balls of both feet, bend the knees, bring them to your mat, and take a child's pose here as you bring the arms alongside the body to curl in and just give yourself a moment to pause and to breathe. Maybe the knees come a little wider apart for this one. As we slowly unroll, we make our way back to downward facing dog. From here, lifting right leg up, reaching it way back, bending the knee, opening up the hip for a beautiful stretch in the hip. Knee comes to point back down as you step the right foot forward. Bringing your left heel down, point your left toes straight ahead. Bring your right elbow to the inside and press the palms together to open up here. It's a nice, easy, open alignment through the chest and through the hips. You want to try to stack that left hip above the right one. You can open up the arms nice and wide and then floating it up to your warrior two. As you straighten your front leg, take an inhale, get nice and long. So again, really focusing on engaging that core. And let's bring the right hand down and alongside that front leg, or placing it on a block. And you might be able to bring the fingers down to the mat. That is not necessary. Where you want to be mindful here is your top shoulder, top hip. Don't want to be rolling forward, but instead stay nice and open. So if you go down too far, you might find that you start to collapse. To continue to open the heart, bring your left fingertips by the ear, behind the head. Look up. So feel like you're turning your body a little bit to look up to that top elbow. Breathe, hold it, and extend. Let's float back up again. And bending into your warrior two, reversing your warrior. So a really beautiful stretch through the arm. This is going to help give those wrists a bit of a release. And from here, let's cartwheel the hands to bring it to our plank position once again. Inhaling at the top, exhaling to chaturanga. Scooping through, upward dog and downward dog, moving right into a three-legged dog. Breathing here to reach up and back, bending the knee, creating that beautiful stretch in the hip. Once again, you get the help of gravity in this one, so it really does feel like a beautiful stretch. And as you square up the body, step your left foot forward, bringing your back heel down and moving into your side angle position. So bring the hands to prayer at the center of your chest. Looking up, make sure you're tucking your tailbone under here as you look up, opening the arms and floating yourself up to your warrior two. Sinking into it, straighten the front leg, reach it forward, front arm comes down, stacking and aligning, looking up, fingertips by the ear or right at the nape of the neck, base of the skull, looking upward. Feel how good that is through the obliques. Reach up, inhale, and float it back to your warrior two. A reversing of it, stretches and opens the rib cage, slides those fingers down, and let's cartwheel it to our downward facing dog, or not downward dog, we're going right into a plank so that we can move through our vinyasa here, scooping through, inhaling, and exhale. A few more breaths. Give your head a turn once again, loosen up into that neck. And as we move forward, we bring ourselves to a forearm plank. So line the body. Let's come back down. This time we get to stay down and hang out here a little longer as we bring the forearms parallel to each other. So line up your body once again, press into those forearms, and pivoting onto the outside edge of the right foot, inside edge of the left one, reaching up, looking up, inhale, and bring it back down again, pivoting and rolling through to the other side. Really focusing on the mid-body here, the legs as well, so that you are not dipping your hips down. You want to maintain the control. So a slow movement linked with your breathing is going to help you to maintain control, strength, lifting through the hips, and rolling through. We're going to do 2 more on each side here. So we're doing about 5 of most of these repetitions on each side. Total of 10. Really allows you to connect with the movement, and it gives you time to be more mindful of your form so that you can work on perfecting it as best as possible. As you bring it down, come back to our hovering plank, bringing the knees down and the hips, belly, chest, and the ear to the mat. From here, bring the arms at your sides and take a moment here just to breathe easy. Bringing the tip of your nose to the mat, keeping a tuck of the tailbone, a lift of the navel. Bring the hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers. So once again, we give a chance to decompress those wrists, hands, forearms. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lift it up. Hold it up here. Take an inhale to get a little bit more height if you can, reaching away as if somebody was pulling you, lifting up a little higher, a little higher. Press those feet into the mat. Inhale, exhale. Come down, bring the opposite ear to the mat this time. And rest easy here. As you bring the tip of your nose back to your mat, hands outside of the ribs, draw elbows inward. Inhale to lift and exhale to take it back. So getting close to our grand finale here. We're going to first come back to our plank and we're bringing the right hand underneath the face as we pivot to come into a high side plank. Now from here, you may want to stack your feet or keep them scissored. You could bring your bottom knee to the floor always as an option. Make sure your palms open to the wall. You're facing from here. You can lift that top leg, holding it still, making sure your bottom is not popping out. You can bring the elbow toward the knee, a little squeeze for 1, 2, 3, 4, working on balance, last one, 5, whoa, 5, squeeze, reach, and bring it down. Hopefully the other side is a little easier for me. You'll probably find that as well. One side a little easier than the other. Again, check in with those hips. Take the left hand under the face, pivot to the other side, and let's open it up, reach it up. If possible, you can just hold it here or see if you can lift that top leg. Bringing elbow to knee for 1, for 2, 3. They don't have to touch. You just want to bring them toward each other. 4. This is where it starts to get wobbly. 5. And release it. Come on back. Downward dog. Spread the feet wider apart and walk the hands towards your feet. As you inhale with a flat back, breathe in, breathe out, sink into Malasana. And bring the palms together here as you lift the heart and just give yourself an opportunity to breathe easy and really restore, recover. As we release the hands back down and walk the feet away once again, coming back to your downward facing dog. From here, we are going to come into our grand finale. So moving forward into a high plank and coming down onto your forearms. So I'm just going to reach for my timer here. And we are going to start it with a hovering plank. So this is our 5-minute plank. I always like to have this incorporated in my classes at least once a quarter with students. It just gives a good checkpoint to see how things are going, how strength has improved, and so it's easy to kind of get a little bit sloppy as you get tired. So make sure that you're always checking back in, check in with those feet, legs, the core, check in your shoulders as well, so that you're not starting to create too much stress in the shoulders and the upper back. into the chest. And from here, we are going to do a flip over momentarily, where we're going to come onto the right forearm to come into a side hovering plank. So you can stack your feet here as well, or like before, you can scissor them. You can reach that top arm up. You want to make sure you have good alignment from your top shoulder, from your bottom shoulder to your elbow. So you don't want to be feeling like you are placing that joint out of its natural alignment and then putting pressure on it. You want to stay aligned the entire time. So by changing it up like this, we make that 5 minutes go a little faster, a little easier, and I hope to be able to talk you through the whole thing. We're almost through the side plank, so the side is done for today in just a few more moments. So if you take one more full breath, you are going to find that you're now able to come back to your hovering plank. Awesome. So align. Keep those legs fired up. Breathe. It's all good. It's starting to get pretty warm here. Getting a little bit of drippiness coming on my mat, and it's not even hot yoga. So you can imagine what happens in the hot yoga class. If you have not done it before, just try doing these challenging, demanding poses, exercises, holds, 100 degrees plus. So it gets pretty intense in there. But at the same time, your flexibility is amazing with those nice warm muscles and tissues. So we have about another breath before we switch over to the left forearm right now. So take it over, and again, find the place for your right forearm, taking down, keeping hips lifted, keeping legs strong, keeping your chest proud, and really focusing on your inhales and your exhales. You want to be able to breathe nice and slow and smooth. So the good news is, once we finish this side, we'll be done 4 minutes already. So we will be down to our final minute. So it's really not that bad. Adding this little bit of variety changes it up enough to keep it interesting and kind of break it up in the little milestones. So take another full breath. Take your time with your exhale and bring it to your grand finale. The final minute here. Keep that body nice and straight still. Legs still fired up. Feet fired up. Belly button to the spine. Shoulders away from the ears. Feel good in knowing that you're tapping into that powerful strength from within. So you have less than 30 seconds, actually about 20 seconds left now. So we're almost there. Please hang in there with me. Drop to the knees if you need to, but stay in your plank and see if you can come back up if you drop to the knees. And we are down to the final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. You made it. Whew. So from here, let's bring the hands outside of the chest. Draw those elbows toward each other. Inhale. Exhale. Hold it here. And just breathe while you're here. Sink the hips down. Give the head a little turn, maybe just a little shift of the ear towards shoulder side to side. You can even roll to one hip, roll to the other hip. Nice and easy and gentle, keeping your handprint big. And from here, taking it back to your child's pose of your choice. Perhaps you bring the arms right by your legs. Take a few breaths here as we restore peace, calm, and slowly unroll. Let's come onto our backs, finishing up our practice today with just a few stretches, a little bit of time of relaxation. Hopefully you have time in your schedule to really allow yourself a little bit of pause before you resume your day. You can bring the nose to the knees and either reaching for the big toes, maybe for the insides of the feet, outsides, ankle, even the backs of the knees can be a nice modification for your child's pose. You do want to try to bring your ankles over top of the knees, but depending on your flexibility, you might have to keep the legs bent and just keep the hands over the knees. So really, you want to kind of adapt all of these poses to what works for your body. We're all different, even though we have the same body parts physiologically. Our bone structures are different. Certainly the way that our muscles, our fascia holds rigidity is different. From here, you can bring the hands to your kneecaps and make a few rotations to massage in one direction, massaging the other way. Let's take a figure four, or reclined pigeon, as you cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh, squeezing in here, keeping your chest open and proud. You can close the eyes as you allow yourself to give yourself more of a squeeze. And then release. Let's switch it around to the other side. Left ankle over right. Great stretch for the glutes, even for the inner thigh as you continue to bring this closer to you. Try not to use your chest here, but instead use your hands, use your forearms to pull the leg in as you bring your feet back down again, taking your left knee, or keeping your left knee in, tucking it in towards you. You can take your right hand to the knee and open your left arm as you come into a spinal twist. You could keep your left leg bent here, or you might want to extend it, maybe even reaching for your right or your left big toe with your right hand. Gaze upward, to the right, to the left, close the eyes, breathe. As I mentioned in my previous video of twisting and binding, the twisting really helps to restore your spinal alignment, and it helps to calm your nervous system. When you think about all of the nerves that run through your spine, all the emotion that is transported through there, stored in many of the nerve endings, just by twisting, you're giving that great big hug in sort. As you bring your right knee back in, you're going to switch the legs and take your left hand to your right knee, opening up the right arm. Again, adjust your gaze, looking up, looking to your right hand, closing the eyes. Again, right knee can stay bent, or you can take a hold of that big toe to straighten the leg. Relaxing here. Enjoying the stretch in those obliques. We certainly work those. It also stretches your glutes quite nicely and the hamstring. As we come back to center, take a big, beautiful breath. Stretch, lengthen, inhale. And exhale. Bring the arms to your sides. Allow those palms to softly turn upward. Let the toes turn out. Relax all of the facial features. Let your breath flow in and out through the nostrils with ease, with peace. Feeling good, knowing that that harder work is behind you now, but you get to take the benefits with you. So as you come back to life gradually, maybe staying here a little longer if you like, you can gently circle out your wrists and circle your ankles. Wiggling fingers and toes, shrugging shoulders, once again reaching back. To inhale, exhaling to bring the knees into the body, curling in a little bit of back and forth to massage your back, finally rolling through your side or through the center to come all the way back up to a seated position. So as we bring our practice to conclusion today, I do hope that you enjoyed those planks, and if you found them challenging, remember that you can always come back to this and gradually build up. Maybe each time you'll find that it gets a little easier and you're able to modify a little less and really challenge yourself. And that's really the idea. That's what keeps yoga such an interesting journey, is maintaining that challenge and always having something to work toward. So I really want to thank you very much for your time today. And don't forget to subscribe if you liked it, and give me one of these, as well as hit that notification bell so you'll know when I upload new content and you can check it out. And check me out in the next video. Namaste.